So, Dr. Eriksson, what is your expectation from the Union budget of India?
I expect it to emphasize the use of new technology and new opportunities in the development of cities, and to not only learn from the mistakes of other countries in Europe and North America, but to actually leapfrog ahead of them in ensuring that cities are developed safely, securely for individuals, for the environment, while at the same time providing opportunities for developing knowledge industries.
Right, as you said, it seems like digital India would soon leapfrog all countries and it would leave behind. So what's your expectation from the real estate sector, and how do you think G4S would be able to act as an enabler to digital India? If you could tell us some of the projects of your organization right now.
Sure. I think that G4S, as the world's largest security company, and Hill & Associates that I represent in India, as the risk consulting wing of G4S, not only would be an enabler, but an important element in the development of smart cities. Because smart cities, if you want to leapfrog, you have, as I said, you cannot only learn from mistakes taken elsewhere, you have to get one step ahead of it. And security and safety for the citizen and for the companies depends on good security by design. So already at the blueprint stage on the urban planning, never mind individual buildings, on the urban planning, you look at it from a security perspective to make sure that it's designed in such a way, the city, that the likelihood of insecurity rising is reduced. So by designing the city with security in mind, there might actually be less risk of insecure situations or crime increasing. Second to that, and that's the kind of services that Hill & Associates as part of G4S could provide. Second to that, G4S has all the skills and tools required in order to provide sensors and other intelligent forms of monitoring through CCTV or through speed cameras or whatever it might be, right, to monitor the cities to make sure that they're safer and more secure for the citizen. And third, in the third phase, to actually provide the manpower in terms of man guarding and the more traditional services that most people are used to seeing G4S in. We could do all of that and do it smart and intelligent in that we maximize the use of technology in the deployment of the man guards and other facility management solutions like even cleaning to clients and the cities. All right.
Well, unlike the USA, where we have a social security number and identification of every individual, here the Aadhaar card is still in progress, wherein we do not have numbers for all the 2 billion. So do you think the security system and the smart city concept would really be possible? If so, what's the time span?
That's a big question. For sure it is possible. It's always possible with technology to identify people. We all have unique facial recognition, and even ears and other visually distinguishable factors could be used to identify people to a certain extent. The best way forward would be to have identification cards for all citizens, right, but it's not a small country. As I'm sure you're aware of as well, and I don't envy the challenge of those individuals in the government who are responsible for bringing out those identification numbers, which they are working on. I won't take their job away from them and trying to guess how long it will take them, but in that interim and jumping back to smart cities, there are technology ways, as I mentioned, facial recognition or other biometrics that can be used in conjunction with CCTV or other sensors to identify people when so is needed.
Great. If you could talk about some of your projects you have here for the Indian customers, what's the level of customization? And are you also dealing with B2B, and is it also B2C?
It's business to business. We don't have much business to governments and definitely not retail just yet. Examples of projects. We do a lot of security risk management, which is another word for what I said, security by design. So if you have large companies coming here, building a new factory, we can help them to plan before, even on a blueprint stage, how to set up that whole factory in order to make it as safe as possible for the workers and to minimize the amount of crime in terms of fraud or other types of crime that could occur on that site. So that's a large part of our business. We also help the companies to understand the Indian context out of a security perspective greater by doing research on their counterparts and research on the environment where they're going to operate, so they fully understand the risks involved and manage them accordingly. We should also, in terms of smart cities and an increasing area of demand that we're seeing, is smart cities. The concept when it was first originated was set up to not only make the city smart, which is what we're mainly talking about today, but also to make the industry, the workplace smart. And with that I mean moving into more white-collar work, white-collar industries, software development, BPO, BPM, and these kinds of industries that we're very familiar to here in Gurgaon. With those industries comes new challenges out of a security perspective. You have to have better not only laws in terms of intellectual property and knowledge, but you also have better enforcement of them. And for us as a private security company, helping clients to manage the intellectual property that is the product of a white-collar company, a white-collar industry, which is the result of a smart city, that's going to be increasingly important.
Great.
So, yeah.
The last question here, what are the challenges you're facing here in India?
No, part of the reason why I am here is that I really enjoy the challenges that are posed by a fastly growing economy like India is. It's a hard time to figure out where to start, but in general, because also our company provides services that are allowed to thrive in an absence of the government providing such services. But public good is often looked after in terms of infrastructure, in terms of facilities and utilities, exactly the kind of topics that the concept of smart cities are there to address. Those are challenges. I could also twist the question around and say, what are not the challenges? Well, with the current government, who is very industry and commercial friendly, we have a completely different sentiment in terms of ensuring that we can do our business and get on with it and employ more staff, which is exactly what I want as well. So I think it's wrong to focus on the challenges. Of course, if you want to improve, you need to, and there's those working on that, as you mentioned, with the identification cards, as I said, with the infrastructure, from vehicle infrastructure all the way to IT infrastructure. But it's improving dramatically. So.
Great.